Okay, so while tomorrow's Halloween celebration will be all about the fun for the kids, safety is a priority for many of the parents.
Yeah, and who better to give us some safety tips than a former Marine who protected the President of the United States? Which one we have to ask?
Which one?
George W. Bush.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's Corey Winter. He now, by the way, owns a safety and security consulting firm and joins us now with some safety tips for trick-or-treating. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Give us a little bit of the background. You mentioned George W. Bush. You had a military history as well. You were used to protecting some high-profile people. What's easier, protecting a president or kids?
President is a lot easier than kids, for sure. We have a lot of different resources. It's also, people are okay with a very hard exterior, hard perimeter. So I went as infantry, and I got recruited for the Presidential Protection Detail for George W. Bush pretty soon after 9/11.
Look at you. That's amazing. That must have been, we'll talk about that because that must have been a fascinating time protecting the president after 9/11 as well.
Yeah, especially, I think I turned 21 while I was at Camp David, so it was a pretty unique experience at a very young age.
Wow.
Okay, so let's talk about protecting the kiddos. What 5 tips would you have for, let's say, a kid who's trick-or-treating for the first time by themselves?
Well, we can stick with the Marine Corps theme and use a buddy system. If you're leaving, if you're going to have kids going out on their own, they should leave together, they should stay together, they should take care of each other, they should come back together. There are devices that are maybe worth considering for tracking students or kids. But if it's not something they've ever used before, that may not be a good idea. One of the biggest risks is being hit by a vehicle. So reflective clothing, flashlights, glow sticks, those sorts of things are definitely well worth doing.
How young is too young, would you say, for a child to be out with other kids?
It really depends.
Okay.
We have a 9-year-old, and we're debating that. It's coming up tomorrow. We're still on the fence, but parents know best. I would actually say this is a good moment to empower and remind parents that they know their kids best, and they know their maturity level, they know the friends they're going to be with. Yeah. And so it's a tough judgment call, but it's something that we all have to make.
Yeah.
So speaking of the maturity level, if you have a child who, let's say they want to go trick-or-treating alone with their with their friends and not the parents, what kind of happy medium do you reach?
Well, I would definitely take the time to remind them about, and adults as well, that situational awareness is one of the most important things that we can use to keep ourselves safe. Yeah. In this situation, the baseline of normal activity for a home when you walk up to it is going to be lights and lots of stuff and clearly inviting, appropriate for Halloween, where a house that is completely dark and quiet and nothing going on, those are the ones you avoid. And so identifying that for them before and letting them know, reminding them, I think is really helpful.
Yeah, the one with Freddy Krueger outside
is inviting.
Weirdly, that's the norm for Halloween. So,
okay. All right, so we know that. How would you say can adults actually help keep the neighborhood safer when groups of kids will be walking around in the dark, really?
I'd say it's 2 big things. The first is the biggest risk to kids on Halloween is being hit by a vehicle. So if you can't block off a neighborhood, which most neighborhoods you can't, and you can't separate vehicles from kids, then use crossing guards. Use the dad crews to stand out there and make sure that they're paying attention. Kids often have masks and things. They don't have peripheral vision. They can't see what's going on, so if we can help them. And then the other thing is trusting your intuition. If your gut is telling you something's wrong, someone has come in, especially as it gets later in the evening, and you feel like they're off and something's not right, then pay attention to that, listen to that gut instinct, and follow it.
We need to have you back for a safety segment on navigating the streets of New York City.
Yeah, exactly. Or
always an adventure.
Or just walk the streets with us. Yeah. So we know we have a Marine who's guarded George W. Bush. All right, Corey, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So great to see you.